Welcome back to Susan Dawn's Spiritual Connections, and welcome to another reading. I don't know what this is going to be yet. You're going to know before I do what this is. The reason is it's either going to be a soul path reading or a sacred union energy update. I'm not quite sure. The reason is because I'm wanting to do a reading in which there is a lot of guidance. And I don't know if this is going to come through as a sacred union update or if it's going to come through as a soul path reading. But I do want there to be a lot of guidance with regards to your experience, your personal journey, your spiritual awakening, your ascension. That is the intention. And I'm setting that intention because this is a reading that is for me as well. I had a very interesting past couple of days, past week now it has been, in which I have been navigating a complex situation in which I'm holding space for someone while also being a support. But through my ascension journey, where I would have in the past been in a state of helplessness and anxiousness and questioning myself and doubting myself and wondering if can I do more and trying to people please and overgive and just be as much to everybody as I possibly could, what I realized is that my ascension journey has brought me to such a place that even if it looks like chaos on the external, even if it looks like it is destructive, even if it looks like there is everything that is falling apart, like a tower moment, which is what it was, not for myself, but for somebody that I'm close to, what I realized is that underneath, I was experiencing so much peace, and I was navigating the scenario in which I was holding space and providing support from that place of peace versus helplessness, versus feeling powerless, versus feeling anxious. That is where my own ascension journey has brought me. It has brought me to a greater capacity within my nervous system, within my energy field, to be able to hold the energy for multiple people, but also to have those healthy boundaries in which I'm not exerting myself unnecessarily. Having learned that you can only help people in the way that they are able to receive help, that you can only support people to such a degree that they're able to be receptive of that to the in the way that they want to help themselves, that we can't fix things, heal things for everybody, even the world. There that has been one of the greatest things that has been so difficult for me, my entire life, is wanting to change the world, wanting the world to be better. And when I look at the world as it is now, it just looks like a big old clusterfuck. It just looks like it's a mess. It looks so chaotic. And it truly feels like we're in dueling perspectives, like we're in two different worlds at times, where everybody's living out their reality, everybody's living out different frequencies. I can't remember the reading that we did channel this in. I think it might have actually been a maybe a workshop where it feels like we're all tuned to different radio frequencies, and sometimes we have the blessing of coming into alignment with a group of people or maybe a significant other where we're actually tuned to the same frequency. And so you feel that recognition, you feel that understanding, um, without speaking, without having to explain yourself. It's just a resonance that you feel because you're tuned on the same dial, on the same radio station, to that same frequency. And more as we go through this journey, as we continue in our spiritual awakening and ascension on a global scale, we're going to experience more and more of that soul resonance with people. I keep getting drawn to the angel aura prism. If you guys know, I have my own healing modality called angel aura energy healing that connects with the angel aura rainbow ray, with the angelic realm. I keep getting drawn to this because this is significant with regards to what our ascension journey is bringing us to. It is connecting us to the rainbow grid. It's connecting us to what I call that angelic prism matrix, that angelic aura, angel aura, is connecting us to that's what the new earth energy, so to speak, is all about. It's not about somewhere out there. It's not about finding a new place. It's about discovering that within ourselves, and we're embodying that energy, we're embodying that frequency, we're embodying that angel aura, we're embodying that higher rainbow frequency, and that's how we create a new world. And so in the past, I would have felt so helpless and anxious, and I want to change the world, and I still feel that my sense of justice has been so highly activated recently, in that I am just wanting to take action and be an advocate and be an activist, more so an advocate, for those maybe who can't speak for themselves, for those who are downtrodden, for minorities, for those who are being the most affected and the most in danger or the most hurt by what's being experienced in the physical world right now, whether that is wildfires and natural disasters or whether that is actual government policies. My inner justice is like wanting to stand up and wanting to fight and wanting to create change for those who are the most impacted. And I've again felt that my whole life, and I have a history of that advocacy. Because that again, justice has always been, as a Libra, that justice has always been deeply ingrained in me, and wanting to change the world has been deeply ingrained in me. And one of my biggest lessons has always been, but you can't heal and change everyone. Now, here's the thing, what they're bringing to me is I used to see a meme or something go around where it was like a little boy on the beach. I might be getting this wrong, but I'm just going to say it how I remember it. It was like a little boy on the beach, and there were all these like sand dollars or something, or crabs or something that had washed up onto the beach, and he was throwing them back into the water. And his mother was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, I'm saving the crabs or the sand dollars or whatever it was." And she's like, "Well, you can't save everyone. There's like a million here on the beach." And he said, "Well, it matters to this one." He throws one more back into the ocean. It matters to that one. You can only do as much as you can do. And not to reprimand yourself if you can't do more, and not to drain yourself or to feel defeated if you can't, and unnecessarily drain yourself by overgiving or over sacrificing yourself, because then that's not going to help anybody, right? The most important thing that you can do is maintain that light. Many years ago in our Unity channelings, we have that available in our Ascension Connections portal for free, our resource library. Unity channelings, we channeled Hold the Light, Be the Light, and how important that was, especially if there's chaos that's erupting around us. And that can be the greater collective, what we're seeing in the world today, in our countries, in our governments, in all these systems that is really being upended. Or that can apply to your physical life, your family, your friends. It might not necessarily be you, but you might be adjacent to it, which is what I experienced. It's not necessarily me, but I'm adjacent to it. And so I had to step up. I wanted to step up in support of these people that I care about, wanted to step up and be a support, but I also knew that I needed to have healthy boundaries. I also knew that I could only do so much. That wasn't my responsibility. It wasn't my decisions. That I could share my insight. I can share my wisdom. I can share my thoughts, my opinions. I could hold space. I could be that light for others. I could hold that light for others. But at the end of the day, I could only do what I'm, number one, guided to do, and what I'm called to do, and what I'm meant to do. And so, how does that apply to twin flames and sacred partners? Well, it applies because it's the same thing with your sacred partner. At the beginning of our journey, we think that we have to heal or fix or change, or not necessarily change, but that our healing is going to shift our counterparts. And it does. That is what happens ultimately on an energetic level. But you don't have to force it. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to be anything other than who you are. Who you are is enough. And that's what our journey teaches us. We don't have to manipulate it or force it or control it. And that's not a judgment, and that's not a criticism, because we all experience that. I don't care who you are. We all experience that at some point of our journey. That's the ego. It's coming from the unconscious self, and you don't know what you don't know. So that's where you have to have compassion for yourself. Every single one of us has experienced that, in which we are unconsciously. There are some who might be consciously trying to control or manipulate, but we're not talking about those kind of dynamics. We're not talking about those kind of energies. We're not talking about those kind of people. We're talking about unconsciously, where you weren't aware of the ego that was trying to control or manipulate or force something. You weren't aware of it. You just weren't aware of the many sneaky ways in which the ego can be like, "Oh, maybe I should call. Yeah, I should call. That's a good idea. That sounds right. I should call." Well, that's kind of like a manipulation, right? That's kind of like a forcing yourself. The difference between trusting the intuition and following the inner guidance versus the ego, which is forcing, manipulating, or control, is all in the intention and the energy. If you are just embodying who you truly are. If you're embodying that sacred self, then you have a different intention than you would if you were to try to manipulate it unconsciously. Obviously, it's a different intention. You have a different energy around it, you know? You might ask yourself, should I call? It feels right to my soul that I call. It feels right because I'm expressing myself. I want to express myself, or I want to reach out. I don't have to reach out, but I want to reach out. I feel called to reach out because I'm feeling that within my heart space. I'm feeling the desire to reach out like I want to or like I should. Versus should I reach out? Maybe I should reach out. I haven't talked to him in a few days, or I haven't seen her in a while. I should reach out. Yeah, I should reach out. Do you see the difference? Like that's a very like that's a very I don't know, like a very strange analogy or example, but do you see the difference? Look at your own experiences and where you experienced that in the beginning of your journey with your counterpart, for example, and now at where you are in this higher heart ascension. You can see the shift in your energy, and that's not to criticize or judge that past version of you. Like I said, we have all been there. All of us, masculine and feminine, we have all been there. That's just the ego that's operating from the wounded state. That's the ego that's operating from the unconscious, from the fear, from the unknowing. It's just the ego, it's just the unconsciousness. And so, as you raise your consciousness, as you grow, as you learn, as you anchor into that wisdom, you're being pulled from the heart space now. You're connected to your intuition and you're expressing yourself from that state of consciousness versus the unconscious state of control, manipulation, and force. So, when I say those three words, control, manipulation, and force, again, we have literally all been there. But I don't want you to ever judge or criticize yourself, or don't judge or criticize another. Because not only have we all been there, but we've all been in states of unconsciousness where we were unknowingly doing that. We were unknowingly trying to manipulate something. Because the ego, it makes us feel safe, it makes us feel secure, it brings about a sense of certainty, especially if we're feeling uncertain. But again, our journey teaches us how to be secure within ourselves, how to trust in the unfolding, how to trust in ourselves. And so this week, as there was so much kind of this tower moment that was erupting around me, as there was a lot of chaos, I felt like a calm within the storm, and I could see how my energy was rippling out and becoming a calm for everyone involved, for those who were adjacent to me in the situation, and more directly affected, I should add too. That because I was calm and helping to navigate and support, they were reflecting that to me. The situation itself became calm versus chaotic as it could have been. And so we were just kind of helping each other to navigate the situation. So I want to get some cards with regards to just being able to recognize how you have leveled up in your journey, how you have grown, and what it means to truly hold space, what it means to be in a place of peace and being in a place of support. I just kind of want to open this up and see what is it that we need to know. I'm not sure if it's going to be considered, it's not going to be a Sacred Union energy update, I can tell that now. But I don't know if it's going to be relative to Twin Flames and Sacred Partners or not. Obviously it will be, especially since we brought that in. Again, look at your own journey with your counterpart. Where did you try to heal, fix unconsciously? Heal, fix, have them grow with you, right? But where were you trying to control the journey? Where were you trying to force it? Where were you unconsciously manipulating it? Versus where have you truly surrendered? Where have you truly released the attachment? Where are you truly embracing your authentic self and enjoying your journey and your life and holding space for your counterpart at the same time? Our ascension journey teaches us how to hold the energy of two realities, hold the energies of two truths. It's not either or anymore. It becomes the middle way. It becomes an and. I love my counterpart, and I released the attachment to the journey or the story that I was creating for us. I am supporting these people and I am having healthy boundaries for myself, where I'm not taking responsibility for the situation or the outcome or what's happening, but I can be support. It's an and kind of energy. So that's the thing that we're able to really sink into as we ascend further and further on this journey, because we're going deeper and deeper into the truth of ourselves, into the core of ourselves, connected to ourselves. That's why it's so important to keep doing those deep dives. That's why your inner transformation changes absolutely everything. So take a look, be radically honest with yourself. Take full accountability. Where are you on your journey? How is it that you're feeling? Are you still feeling attached to specific outcomes? Are you still feeling attached to specific energies, or to, are you still sacrificing? Are you still feeling your energy pulled in one direction or another versus feeling very centered and balanced within yourself? Be really radically honest, because the ego can be very tricky, right? That's why we do the deep dives. That's why we shift our beliefs. That's why we work on our identity. That's why we do that inner work. It's because it's really about going deeper and deeper into that inner work. That's what changes everything. So, that radical responsibility, that radical honesty and accountability is what will be reflected to you and what will show you where you are on your journey. Okay, let's get some cards here and just kind of see what this reading is about, or anything that we need to know for our journeys right now. And you can apply this again to your individual journey or your personal life, or you can apply it to the greater collective too. You know, something that was very difficult for me, again, has been the whole world, wanting to help heal and fix and change and just make the world a better place. And, at some point you release that. At some point you just say, you know what? I'm part of the whole. I'm part of making a difference here, but I can't do it all on my own. You give up the ego. You give up the ego. That's exactly what it is. You give up the ego. That's exactly what it is. Whether your personal life or the greater world, you're giving up the ego. Okay. What do we need to know? Please, Spirit. What is it that we need to know? What is it that we need to know? I want to mention, I just got a new crystal. I had a work dinner at the crystal shop where I sometimes work. And we all went out to dinner. And when I was there, I haven't been there in a while, I picked up this beautiful crystal. I'd never seen it before, at least not in this form. It's called Eudolite. And it feels like it was really calling to me. And I looked at the card that comes with the crystals at our shop. And what did it say? It said, Eudolite, strength, self-love, grounding. Eudolite is an uplifting stone that enhances feelings of love towards oneself and others. It cleanses and heals the heart chakra and encourages one to let go of past hurt in order to move forward in life. It is believed to have a strong ability to cause coincidence or synchronicity in life, like we need more of that, and enables one to see why certain things have occurred in the past. It has a gentle vibration that supports one in pursuing their true inner calling. What was so interesting about this experience that I had this week was I could see all the threads. I couldn't see so far as how it was going to turn out, but I could see all the interconnecting pieces. For example, last fall, I had a sisterhood dinner with a bunch of new friends and a friend from college. And she mentioned that she was going to be moving closer to me. And she has been a huge support with regards to this situation, just helping me understand certain aspects of this situation, helping me, you know, bring more insight into the situation, because she has a role to play with regards to her job. And so, without giving details, obviously I'm not going to give personal details away, but it was interesting because I could see how her in this new job, it's a new job that she has, her in this new job, I could see how she has come into this part of my life. She was an old college friend, but she's come into this part of my life as a support system for me and for everybody involved. And so it was just a beautiful experience of just seeing everything interconnecting, seeing all the threads that are being woven. even if I can't see the outcome, because timelines are open right now. There's a lot that is shifting, and it's shifting in every moment with our choices, with our actions. And the more we are trusting our intuition and aligned with ourselves, the more it's leading to these positive timelines. Even if it looks like chaos, Kali Ma taught us the cycle of creation. Sometimes things have to be destroyed in order to come together more fully. If a foundation has been built on instability, the tower comes, upheaval comes in order to say, hey, this is not stable, in order to be built on a much more grounded place and much more grounded uh, um, foundation. And we know that from our sacred union journey as well, that anything that is not aligned, anything that is not a stable foundation, gets knocked down in order to be created in that new sense of stability and security to move forward, to build upwards. Because everything is building blocks, everything is interconnected, and everything is compounding on each other. You can look back at your whole life and your life journey and see how all those threads were interwoven in your life journey. And I've always been able to see that. I've always been able to see the woven threads. Again, I might not be able to see how everything plays out, but that comes from individual choice. But I've always able to see for my clients and myself and the people in my life how all the threads are woven together and the meaning behind that, the depth behind that. And so it's been so interesting in my own experience to see that and to just be at this place of peace and allowance, holding space and allowing it to unfold, knowing that I can't control the outcome, that I can't take responsibility for the outcome, because again, I'm just adjacent to the situation, that all I can do is hold space and support as I'm guided, as I'm called to. And again, that's the same for our physical reality. Just the same thing. Go where you're guided. Take action when you're guided to. Do what you can. But your energy, just holding space, holding the light, being in that embodiment, is having a powerful ripple effect too. That's really important to remember. Your energy alone is having its own powerful ripple effect. That does not mean be passive. That does not mean you're not taking action within your own life or, for example, in the world, with a job or with advocacy or with standing up or expressing yourself or whatever that is. But you're doing it from a place of connection to yourself, because everything is interconnected, and the deeper you connect to yourself, the more you see those threads. So I really wanted to get this deck, but maybe this isn't the deck I'm meant to use. I feel like it was. We have Gateways of Light, Infinite. I have unlimited access to the divine mind. And look at that. Look at, it's like two twin flames. It's like two sacred partners that are interwoven. And look at the snake there too. I'm just going to channel on this for a moment, because what I'm getting from this is this does feel like everything is interconnected. And that's the place that we have to trust our journey and, again, dissolve and release the ego, is we have to trust in our counterparts as well, where we have to trust in the people in our lives. We can't control, manipulate, or force, because we're not meant to. We're meant to just be in our energy of embodiment and trust that people are aligning to theirs. Trust that, I used to feel so frustrated by the people in my life, because I used to say, can't you see? Can't you see that if you just took this action, then this is what the result might be? If you would just do this, then this could be better. Again, I could see the threads, I could always see the threads. But that's where I had to release that control. That's where I had to just let it unfold and let everybody have their journey. You can't do anybody else's journey for them. That's part of your own ego that you're releasing, feeling like you have to do it for them. Your role is maybe to support, to provide insight, to share your wisdom if you're asked for it. And there's a fine line between, just kind of butting in and sharing insight and wisdom when it's not asked for, and sharing it when it is asked for. That's where you have boundaries. That's where, especially when it comes to my business practice, I will never reach out. I will always, ask you to connect with me if there is something that I can offer, if there's a service that I can offer. I will never be the one to reach out, because it has to be an energy exchange. It has to be an invitation, right? I will never do a reading for somebody, ever. Will never do a reading for somebody if it is not asked for, if it is not welcomed. Even, I've had clients who wanted to get readings for family members, and I always ask for their permission first, and I need to get that permission first. So, all that to say that with the snake here, I really like the snake energy because the snake is also a symbol of great wisdom. The snake gets a bad rap, but the snake is a symbol of great wisdom, carrying a lot of wisdom, and it also is a symbol of rebirth. I'm getting this word alchemy. It's a symbol of alchemy in that it transforms. The snake sheds its skin and essentially becomes anew again, is renewed. The skin then crumbles, and it is, if you've ever seen a snake skin, it it's like very dried out so that it crumbles, it becomes dust. I'm hearing it becomes part of the earth again. And that's a cyclical energy too, in and of itself. And so, here, wrapped around these two counterparts, this really feels like it is number one, we're getting the word infinite, infinite love, unconditional love that transcends our human experience. Infinite love always is, it always exists. It's transcendent of the human experience. It is a soul connection, and the soul is everlasting. But here too, it is reminiscent of the renewal nature of maybe your connection, the renewal nature of who you both are. Like I said, this situation was really reflective to me of how much I had grown, especially in the past with my counterpart. There was a deep desire to grow together. There was a deep desire for our journey to completely align. There was a deep desire, and like I was creating that separation in my mind, like we weren't already aligned, right? And obviously in the physical it was playing out in a certain way, but that also comes from healing within yourself. You're an empowered creator. As you heal within yourself, your world will reflect that. And that's not to put all of the emphasis and the responsibility on you. Your counterpart also plays a role. They have to take responsibility and accountability for their own actions, for their own healing, for their own journey. But for yourself, that's where you heal, that's where you grow, that's where you evolve, that's where you embody your highest energy and come into alignment. And that's how you come into alignment with that sacredness, the sacredness of your connection, the sacredness of love. Very interesting energy. I don't know if I'm going to post this. I don't know if this is just for me or if this is for the whole. I don't even know if it's making sense as I'm channeling this. That remains to be seen. I honestly don't even feel like I want to listen back. I don't know if this is going to make any sense. But let's just get a little more and see if there's any other messages. The triple star grid, align. I connect and align with my higher consciousness. Yeah, this is what you're embodying now. Doesn't she look like Anne Hathaway? This is what you're embodying now. You are embodying your higher self, and you're going to have experiences that now reflect that. Again, I could have gone into the old energy of feeling helpless, feeling anxious, or feeling like I needed to take responsibility for everything and everyone of the situation itself. But I knew through having healthy boundaries and through my journey, I knew that it wasn't for me to take responsibility. I know now how to hold that energy. I know how to hold space. I know now how to be supportive without controlling the situation, how to be supportive without making decisions, how to be supportive while also allowing people to have their own journeys, because everybody is having their own experience. Everybody is having their own journey too. And that's where we find that balance. It's not, again, an either or, it's an and. I'm having my journey and they're having theirs. That's where alignment comes into play. When you're in alignment with each other, then then you're experiencing your journeys on the same wavelength. And when you're not, it's just because maybe there's something else that you have to learn or they have to learn, part of their journey. But let's not create that separation in our minds anymore. Let's not create that um, that division in our minds anymore, thinking that anything is separate from us. If somebody's having their own journey, maybe you are playing the part where you are supportive, but that's also helping their journey. That's also, you're holding space for them, is actually having a ripple effect on their journey too. Do you see what I'm trying to say? I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I don't even know what's being said here. I feel, yeah, surrender. Okay. They just had me look at the bottom of the deck. Surrender. I'm ready to let go with self compassion. Yeah. So that's what happens with surrender. You're just surrendering the ego. You're just letting go of the ego. You're dissolving that ego that says, I have to control everything. And you're saying, you know what? My energy is supportive. That the more that I heal, the more I'm able to be at peace, the more I'm able to hold space and energy for people, the more that's having a ripple effect on them and their experiences. And maybe they're going through their own tower moments, maybe they're going through their own upheavals. But that doesn't mean that I have to go through it with them. That doesn't mean that I have to be dragged into that energy with them. That I can love and have compassion and hold space for them and be supportive in actions. I can take action. I can do what I'm called to do in support of the situation. But that doesn't mean it's my journey. That doesn't mean that's my cycle. That doesn't mean it's my karma or whatever it is. I've already done my healing work. The biggest thing for me is Lyme disease. It took a long time for me to understand this. I thought that helping people meant sitting in the darkness with them. I thought it meant reliving my trauma and my story over and over and over with them. Because they're struggling, I thought I had to keep struggling too. And it was only through this healing journey that I realized that I'm able to be of better support for people because I have healed. That I can know what it's like to sit in that darkness. And at times I can sit with them. But that darkness doesn't have to be part of me. I don't have to, it doesn't have to wash over me. I don't have to stay there. And I won't stay there. I will never stay there again because I have moved out of that. And so now I know how to lift people out of that too, where we don't have to live in that same energy together, keep repeating that same cycle, just reflecting that back to each other. Because I have healed, I know how to hold space for people, how to have compassion, how to empathize and say, I've been there too, because I have been there too. But that doesn't mean I have to go back there. And if I am in that empathy and sitting in the darkness as people are experiencing that suffering and that struggle, it doesn't mean that I have to stay there. The more I lift myself out, the more I can lift them out too. I can show them the way. We can show them the way. That's what our embodiment does. Our embodiment leads the way. It's leadership by example. And the greatest example is by your own energy. All right, I just split the deck, and what do we have? We have the card Glow. I no longer dim my light, I shine bright for all to see, but it's really just the energy of glow. Just shine bright. The more you shine your light, the more you become that light, the more you're able to lead the way for others out of darkness, just as others have led the way for you. Okay? I'm going to leave this here. I'm not entirely sure what this was, but take it if it resonates for you. If it doesn't, just look through our other soul path readings. This is a soul path reading. Look back through our other soul path readings, or stay tuned. We'll have a new Sacred Union energy update coming up very, very shortly. Sending lots of love and lots of light.